Welcome back. It's kind of funny. I keep hearing, commentators saying that these series they're going to go on for a while, and it just feels to me like momentum is pushing both Florida and Vegas towards the Stanley Cup final, and I can't shake it. Now tonight we didn't need overtime, so this is an earlier recap than I've been doing lately. But this game again, it just shows that Bobrovsky's in the zone. I don't know how else to put it. Florida has this team of destiny feel, so does Vegas. And so we'll see how things go if that is, in fact, the Stanley Cup final. And now Carolina has lost 11 in a row in the conference final. So again, if Carolina gets swept, and I understand 2009 was a long time ago, but it is still noteworthy if this team goes 0-12 in the conference finals over their last three appearances in those conference finals. So it was Anderson versus Bobrovsky. There's some punching and sticking going on the first hold by Anderson when he denied Tkachuk. So things are kind of punchy, but it doesn't stay that way. It really wasn't that kind of a game. The Canes press. Burns has a shot that saved. The Panthers clear. White has a net feed, near miss there. Montour has a shot deflect out. I had to point out too, and I had to mention this, that this I think is the loudest crowds I've heard in Florida since '96. And I really hope this carries over. One thing we know with Florida is that when things aren't necessarily great for the Panthers, the building tends to be kind of half empty. And I really hope that what we're seeing with this run, we see the attendance stay up in Florida. So, strong forechecking by the Panthers. Foss to Burns, near miss there. Burns then has a shot that's saved. McEachern has a blast that's kicked aside. The Canes press. Shots are 3-1 for the Canes at 5.5 minutes. Something else. In these playoffs, shots no longer matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Dallas dominates in shots against Vegas. Doesn't matter. Carolina dominates in shots against Florida. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Shots are 3-1, and then Verhaeghe has a slot shot that's saved. The fans call one. The referee doesn't. Things get pushed in a hole by Bobrovsky. Tkachuk has a rush chance that's blocked. The Panthers press. Things get punchy on a hold by Anderson. The Canes then press at 9 minutes. The Panthers, though, blocking. Good job of shot blocking tonight by a lot of the Florida Panthers out there. Aho's denied on a net drive. Things get pushy. We end up with a 4-on-4 as a result. Canes were mad they didn't come out of that with a power play, though. Understandable, but at the same time, referees not wanting to hand out a power play in that situation. At any rate, Aho couldn't bury one on a net drive. The next net drive he had gets picked off. Canes getting more zone time thus far. Does it matter? Not really. Bennett has a rush chance that's defended as the 4-on-4 comes to an end. Faust is then denied from the slot. Nason has a net drive chance that's caught and held. 5:05 left. The Canes get a power play. That would be their only power play of the game. And Panthers don't let them set up, clear it out. There's a shorthanded rush by Reinhart that ends it. And the Panthers had more chances during that power play than the Canes did. So, I mean, we can look at the Canes power play and say, well, maybe they should have had more chances. Sure, but it hasn't been clicking in this round. Anyways, 2:09 left. The Panthers then get a power play. Early hold by Anderson. They cycle. Slavin clears. Reinhardt's denied and close. The Canes clear. Panthers can't bury with Anderson down. It gets cleared out. Montour has a shot kicked aside. The next chance is blocked. That power play's killed off. 4 shots on that power play for Florida. So after the first period, the score is 0-0. 5-on-5, the Canes are getting the better chances. But 5-on-5 isn't where any of the goals take place tonight. I'll say any of the goals. Sure. I'll say multiples if there's multiple goals. Second period, crossbar and out for Shea on an early rush. Things get pushy then on a hold by Bobrovsky. Burns has a shot that's blocked. It's really all Canes at this point. Then there's a near miss by Faust. The Panthers clear. Aho's denied and close. Panthers are without Barkov since the last 7:04 of the first period, and he would not return to the game. We'll see if it matters later in this series, but it didn't make a big difference tonight. Honestly, Florida really covered for the loss of Barkov well, considering how important Barkov is to this team. That was very impressive. Chatfield has a shot that's kicked aside. Natchez has a net feed that's blocked. The Panthers press at 4 minutes. Jordan Stahl has a shot that's blocked. The Panthers clear. Aho's denied again. More pressure by the Canes. The shots are 7-0 for Carolina at 7 minutes. So lots of chances. Bobrovsky's making all the saves. Nate just has a rush chance that's held. We get some pushing there. Verhaeghe gets the first Panther shot 8.5 minutes into the period. So, yeah, they were getting outplayed. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. Both Florida and Vegas playing the rope-a-dope quite well. Reminding me of Islander games during the regular season where they do the rope-a-dope. And, yeah. Anyways, so that takes place, and then the Panthers press briefly. And you can see a little bit of a turn here. So Jarvis then can't bury on a net drive. We get another rush by Verhaeghe. Anderson holds, and the Panthers, with some pressure, draw a power play. 8 seconds into the power play, Reinhart scores. Bennett and Tkachuk with the assists at 10:05. And I put right there, Kane's getting goalied. This is how it works. You get all those shots and all those chances. The puck goes the other way. They get a power play, and they score. And that's how getting goalied works. And it was buried blocker side. Forsling's then denied on a net drive. The Panthers go back to the power play. Montour has a shot that's held early. The Panthers cycle. Near miss for Reinhart. The next chance is held. We had 20 seconds of 5-on-3. Kane's not happy with that call. The Panthers call a timeout. The Canes clear early, and they cleared it again. And so that makes it a 5-on-4. Back-to-back clears then by the Canes, knowing that they have to kill this. They can't allow another one. The Canes do finish the kill, and then there's an icing by the Panthers. Jarvis has a tip shot that saved. The Canes press with 3 minutes left. Things get punchy on a hold by Bobrovsky. As you could see, the Canes are getting frustrated. No matter what shots they get on Bobrovsky, he saves them and holds them. One thing, too, Florida does well, while they were allowing a lot of shots, Bobrovsky can see them. There really wasn't much of a screen that was being permitted by Florida. So, yeah, just the defensive aspect of the game for Florida has been great. And watching this, I do wonder what Jets fans are thinking, seeing what Paul Maurice has been able to do with Florida when Winnipeg never had a run like this. Of course, different rosters, different situations and all that, but it is odd. You know, Maurice last year when he stepped away from the Jets, I thought, well, he might be done. Then to start the third period, Bennett's denied and close on that first shift. Better start for Florida. You could see they understood they were 20 minutes away from being up 3-0. Post for Pesce from the slot. The rebounds held. The shots are 3-2 for the Canes at 4.5 minutes. Spoiler alert, Florida wouldn't have another shot in the game. They don't need it. They have Bobrovsky. Pesce has a blast that saved the Canes press. The Panthers, strong back checking. Yes, they allowed some shots in that third period. I thought, though, their back checking was very good. Jordan Staal has a shot that's tipped wide. The fans call one. The referee doesn't. He had already given 4 power plays to Florida. Probably didn't want to give him a 5th. Martinook then has a shot that's blocked. The Panthers rush the other way. Mark Staal has a hit on Drury that draws some cheers. Pesce has a screenshot that's blocked. So when it was going through the screen, there was always a Florida defender that didn't let it get through. So again, that had to be frustrating to Carolina. Canes press at 9 minutes. Pesce fires one wide. Chatfield has a tip shot that's saved. Martinook has a net drive that's defended. The fans boo an icing call because we're into the playoffs and you boo icing calls. Don't hear that much during the regular season. Sometimes, but not like in the playoffs. Bobrovsky at this point was up to 63 saves in a row, spanning multiple games, of course, not in this game in particular, but just showing he's just been a wall. And at that point, it'd been like 100 out of 101 shots he'd saved, something ridiculous. Shots were 8-2 for the Canes with 6.5 minutes left, meaning there were only 3 more shots that hit the net in the last 6.5 minutes. That's some pretty solid defending by the Florida Panthers against a team that was desperate for a victory tonight. Panthers not giving Canes much in the second half. 4:36 left, the Canes with an icing, and the crowd really into this. Like, this was not an overly exciting, high-scoring offense game. And yet the fans were really, really into this. And that, I think, again, hopefully bodes well for the market. Lucerine and can't bury one in close with 3:54 left. The Canes go offside, and they just couldn't establish a press. They just were not being given that kind of space. Good puck pressure by Florida. Things get punchy and a hold by Bobrovsky with 3:22 left. The Canes call a timeout, and they pulled the goalie. Aho has a sharp angle shot that saved. The rebounds cleared. The Canes set up. They cycle. The Panthers clear with perfect draw weight, meaning that puck, it just kind of curls and it stops dead before that goal line, so it is not icing. And I'm always impressed when guys do that. I understand icing is no longer considered a big deal, but I think if you can clear it and not have that puck cross that goal line for it to be an icing, good on you. 2:06 left. It looked like it was a Canes power play, as the Panthers hit the empty net goal. So the fans are excited because that puck went in the net. They thought it was a goal. Even the app counted it as a goal initially. However, it was an injury on Gostisbehere that caused the whistle. And when they talked about it, and you could see one of the referees saying, I didn't see it. So one of the referees right there saying, I didn't see it, which is honest. And so they cut away from that camera immediately, which is weird. I don't see that it's a big deal. Yeah, referees don't see everything. That makes sense to me. So, and I know people are going to say, well, then they should have eye in the sky. We've talked about that. We've talked about all that before. So they talk it all out, and I guess nobody saw anything or they decided it was a follow-through that caused the high stick. But either way, it's called off. Gostisbehere just absolutely livid because he wanted the 4 minutes. So Ghost then saves 2 empty net attempts. That was 3 in all together, if you consider his injury caused that empty net goal not to count. Aho then has a shot that's tipped wide. Nason fans on one. The Panthers clear it out. And the Canes, 6-on-5, could not get set up. They couldn't get that opportunity. And, you know, it's the first career playoff shutout for Bobrovsky. It's about time. He's been playing so darn well. I think his save percentage in the series now is like .971 or something ridiculous. So I did my own 3 stars. Because since it's just one game in the playoffs, I'm watching the whole thing. I don't think there's a problem with me doing 3 stars. Bobrovsky, I give the 1st star. Reinhart, the 2nd star, he had the game winner. And Freddie Anderson, the 3rd star, because it was only a 1-0 game, and Freddie had some good saves. Shots on net, 10-7 Florida in the first. 14-5 Canes in the second. 11-2 Canes in the third. Final shots, 32-17 for Carolina, which tells you there's 2 things that are important to take from this game. 1, shots don't matter with Florida anymore. And 2, Bobrovsky's just absolutely fantastic, and Florida knows that they just have to get a lead and then make sure that he can see the puck. That's really what they're doing. Power plays, Canes 0 for 1, Panthers 1 for 4, meaning there were 0 goals in this game 5-on-5. This is, again, that thing where both teams play the same game. Hits 25-23 for Florida. Anderson 16 saves on 17 shots. Bobrovsky saved all 32 shots. Florida is up 3-0. They are 1 game away from potentially being in the Stanley Cup final. Carolina has to win 4 in a row, and I don't think that's going to happen. But at the very least, if they can win a game 4 and go home and at least break this losing streak they're on in the conference finals, that would be something, but we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and it does look like the 8th seed in the East is going to be the representative in the Stanley Cup final, and if I was Vegas, I wouldn't take them lightly. If it is Vegas that plays them, it probably will be. We'll see that series resume tomorrow night in Dallas. Dallas has to win, the difference being they're at home. I like Dallas's chances a little better at home, but yeah, tonight Florida wins at home. Who knows? Maybe Dallas does the same. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.